Hello, hello, everyone. Let me make sure that I am live on the Facebook group and everywhere else that this is streaming. Let me just make sure. Yes, awesome. So, hello, hello. Welcome to day 2 of the Back to School Automation Bootcamp. If you're joining me here live, just drop it in the comments and say day 2. If you are watching the replay, just type in replay. Let us know that you are here. If you missed us yesterday for day 1, you do have access to the replay for the next week. And that access will end on Friday, August the 4th. And you can always do the homework for day 1 to still be entered in to win the grand prize at the end of this challenge, which is a free ride scholarship to the life-changing Automate Your Classroom course. So I don't want you to feel like you are left behind. You still have time to do that and get in what you need to get done to automate for back to school. So again, if you're joining me live, just say, hey, drop it in the comments. Let me know that you are here. And if you're watching the replay, just type replay so we know that you have watched this training. So yesterday we talked about those most important things. Hey, Jamie, hello. That we want to automate, which is procedures and routines. And I gave you a few freebies to go with that to help you along as well. As I went over the plug and play automation to support you in that Tango. But today I want to go a step further and help you automate. And while automation is definitely one of my favorite actionable ways to reduce overwhelm, burnout, and job creep, hello. ChatGPT, since its availability in December of 2022, has really changed the game. So if you haven't heard of ChatGPT, it is a form of artificial intelligence that is trained to generate human-like responses to prompts or questions. So it's just a chat bot. And if you've ever used like predictive text on your phone before, it's very similar to this, but just a lot smarter. Think about like Alexa or Siri on steroids. So this is because we can actually hold a conversation with it by asking specific questions or giving us more in-depth responses based on those questions or statements. If you've ever used ChatGPT before, go ahead, put it in the comments. Let me know that you've experienced that, or if you've never experienced ChatGPT and you're like, "What is this that she's talking about?" Don't worry, we're going to go into that, but drop that in the comments as well. Let me know if you have experience with that. Maybe you don't have experience. But if have you ever been like scrolling on Facebook or maybe another platform and it's like there are these ads about something that you were just talking about? Well, that's because social media platforms are already incorporating AI to analyze your activity. So then it's able to provide you with more personalized content. Think like ads, suggested friends, even articles. Like Twitter even uses AI to analyze and filter tweets, which helps users see relevant or useful content. And AI has been around for a while. It's just not been as easily accessible as ChatGPT made it, where it's not a lot of coding, a lot of random stuff that maybe you're not really familiar with. It's very simple and easy to use. So today I'm going to focus on my favorite AI tool, but I'm also going to talk about a little bit about the other 3 AI tools that I love as well, but are for more specific tasks. So I know Jamie says she has used ChatGPT in the past. Awesome. You already have some exposure to that. And so hopefully today, learning about some other tools and ways to use it are going to better support you. But I know a lot of teachers who think that AI is going to take over their classroom. There was an article or a video from South Park. They hopped on this train of thinking where Stan and his classmates used AI to write their own essays. And so this is a real fear that I think teachers have when it comes to their students using AI like ChatGPT. Maybe they are afraid that they're going to plagiarize. And so before we really dive into how to use artificial intelligence as a tool to reduce this overwhelm, really important to talk about how it's going to really impact our students and how we teach as well. I think it's possible, sure, students could use it for that purpose, but I'll be honest with you. The generation of text that is created by ChatGPT is super formulaic. And without the right prompting, it's really bland. It's bland writing. It's like C minus type writing. But there are some AI detection websites available to check to see if that type of thing is happening. One of those is OpenAI's text classifier. Another one is originality.ai, and then Winston.ai. So there's a lot of them out there to choose from. But I think what's really important is to really make sure that our students are not using it for plagiarism purposes. And by teaching them that there is a way to appropriately use it and how to use it as a tool. So this might take a little bit of a mindset work on your part, but I have 4 tips that I talk about back in episode 46 of the Resilient Teacher podcast. If you're interested and wanting to find out how we can really combat that and help our students with the availability of AI and teaching them really how to use it intentionally and with integrity. I truly don't think it's something that we should be so afraid of, but instead, really shifting that mindset that artificial intelligence can transform our society, where we're being more efficient, more productive, and solving some serious problems in our world rather than just generating content using AI. Okay. And so I want to crush anyone's thought process that AI is going to take over our jobs as teachers, because here's the thing. As I mentioned yesterday, there are so many parts and expectations to our jobs as educators. It's not just about like we're writing lesson plans. There's some humanization that comes down to it. We as teachers are responsible for not only imparting knowledge to our students, but also for creating a supportive, engaging learning environment. We provide emotional support, we foster critical thinking skills, and we help our students really navigate the complexities of the world around them. These are tasks that AI cannot do at the same level as human teachers. While AI can assist us with certain tasks and help us streamline those workflows, it can't replace that human connection. That's the art of teaching. So while AI will undoubtedly continue to transform how we work, I just believe that it's ultimately going to serve to enhance our abilities as teachers rather than really replace them. So as we move into this more artificially intelligent world, I think things like creativity, emotional intelligence, critical thinking are going to be more important than ever before. These are those skills that are uniquely human, and they're skills that cannot be easily replicated by AI. In fact, the rise of AI may actually make these skills more valuable in the workplace because machines are going to be better at performing these routine tasks. But then the humans are left to focus on those more creative and complex aspects of our jobs. So Jamie says, never going to happen in my lifetime. Right. And I don't think it's going to happen at all. I think we are human. And so I want to kind of crush those thoughts. But as educators, I think it's our responsibility to help our students develop these 21st century skills and really prepare them for the future workforce. We have to encourage that creativity, that emotional intelligence, that critical thinking in the classroom, and then provide those opportunities for students to develop these skills in more meaningful ways. This means moving away from that traditional rote learning, those standardized testing, and towards more student-centered and project-based learning. And so there are some of the things that I truly believe that we've been missing in education for a long time. The co-founder of the Future of Life Institute and professor at MIT, Max Tegmark, said that AI is not a silver bullet, but it is a powerful tool that can improve human decision making and solve some complex problems. So before I can really share with you the power that AI can provide us in our current system, I really just want to smash through some of those mindset blocks that we may have about using AI. Currently, our education system's broken. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. And there are so many layers to it that really impact the quality of learning, the gaps that we see. So we kind of have to abandon some of those thought processes and lead that led us to standardized testing, to curriculum that doesn't meet all of our students' needs. And we have to prepare our students for the future. Doing things the same old way, that's going to continue to lead us down the path of frustration, doing a bunch of tasks that aren't conducive to truly. But artificial intelligence is just opening up new opportunities for people to pursue their passions and realize their full potential, because these tools can allow for more creativity and more innovation, where we're focused more on design thinking, collaboration, experimentation. And as a system, like, I think we failed to dedicate any meaningful time for those practices and these ways of living. And we focused on the more memorization of information so students can pass an exam like a factory. I mean, if you really think about it, workplaces are tearing their hair out. And even us as educators, we're tearing our hair out because we have employees or students that have great exam grades, but they don't have the skills to deal with people. They don't have communication. They don't have problem solving. Let me know if you've experienced any of that in the classroom. I mean, I have personally seen students who cannot problem solve. And I think in order for us to really begin to use technology like AI, we've got to start thinking about things out of the box where we use technology with intention. And I guess I'll step down from my soapbox about this because I just really wanted you guys to know how to use it to save your time and energy. But for any of those teachers out there who are a little bit skeptical, hopefully this little pep talk supported you in clarifying the intent behind this. So to start out using ChatGPT, you have to need to understand some of the features and the functionality. At the most basic level, I want you to think about ChatGPT as your virtual teaching assistant robot. Okay. Not all of us can get teacher assistants in our classroom. And so I'm going to share my screen really quickly so that I can show you what this looks like. Let me share it really quickly. So this is what ChatGPT looks like. Okay. You're going to see a text input box down at the bottom. That's where you're typing your prompts and your questions to ChatGPT. I promise I'm getting into something good if you already know about ChatGPT. But you can start a conversation just by saying hi or hello. Okay. Hi. I'm going to type it in for us. Hi. And then it's going to respond back. How can I assist you today? Okay. So really in that text box, that's where you're putting your prompts, your questions, and you just start that conversation. Now, if you give ChatGPT a specific set of tasks, that is called a prompt. And you'll want to experiment with different prompts and different questions to see how ChatGPT generates those responses. But an example of a prompt might be, write a lesson plan on slope intercept formula as a new concept for students. Okay. Or maybe you develop a list of book recommendations for students who enjoyed the Wimpy Kid Diaries. These are just like two examples of basic generative prompts. So, for instance, in the case of a language model like ChatGPT, a generative prompt, that's just a sentence or a question that you provide it. Okay. The model then uses its training data and its understanding of language patterns to really generate a response that's relevant and coherent to the prompt. So if I type in write a lesson plan on slope intercept formula as a new concept for students, it's going to give me a pretty basic lesson plan. If you've been exposed to ChatGPT before, this is just one of the basic ways that it can provide you with something. So it's really important to take note for you the quality of that output. Okay. Because this is going to help you ask or request more information from the AI model, but it's also going to show you how you can see what works and what doesn't when you're creating these like simple generative prompts. So, for instance, if I had students in my classroom who had IEPs, regenerate to differentiate for students who have a learning disability in calculation. This is, again, super basic stuff here that I'm going over, but I kind of want you to see what it does. So it's going to regenerate that to kind of help with that differentiation. Okay. You'll have to read through it, see what those prompts are. Miranda says she's late, but it's okay. But yeah, so that's pretty much what it can do. But when it comes down to automating using artificial intelligence, I believe that ChatGPT is the GOAT because it offers so much in one platform. Now, there are a lot of new AI programs and features coming out that are more specific to a specific task, right? When I talk about I think the most common and the most availability, I guess, comes from ChatGPT itself. A lot of those newer, more tailored applications, they're basically just utilizing ChatGPT, but in a more specific manner. They've already prompted it for you. And so, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm going to be covering plug and play options. And so a lot of these additional apps, Eduai, Question Well, those are also plug and play. So I kind of want to show those to you as well. So let me pull that up so you can see those options and what those look like. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So the first one that I said was Eduai.ai. So this is specifically for teachers and it's helping you to prompt ChatGPT in the best way. Again, these are tailored for that. It's a really cool resource. So I want to share it with you. You can do unit planning, multiple choice questions, lab and material lists, team-based activities for collaboration, discussion prompts, all of that is available within Eduai. Okay. And so this is what it would look like if you were going into Eduai. You're creating content. You might be choose an assistant here. And so like my favorite one that's on here is a substitute planner. Okay. You can leave explicit and clear instructions for a substitute. And all you have to do is type in the topic. So if you taught eighth grade math, you could just type in eighth grade math, see what comes up for it. The other one that I will share with you is Question Well. And so this is using ChatGPT to create questions based on a reading or a topic. Okay. And so what you want to do is put your own learning outcomes inside of this, and it's going to create this for you. Now, here's the caveat that I want to share with you. These extra applications, they often cost money after a certain point. ChatGPT is completely free and it does have this chance to upgrade to a higher, more advanced version. I own that version and it's fantastic, but you don't have to upgrade. We want to be able to utilize tools that are more inclusive, more one-stop shop so that we're not clicking back and forth in between different tabs, having to go to this website for lesson plans, having to go to this website for questions as part of our system. That's not to say you can't do that, but I believe that if you can learn more on how to use ChatGPT, then you won't require those other plug and play websites or apps that are basically just using ChatGPT as their motherboard. Okay. So here again is ChatGPT, and you'll see if I go to chat.openai.com, it will have, just give it a minute to share that. It will come up for you. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing. Maybe it'll give me a minute to kind of look. Somebody said, I love this. Angela says, I love ChatGPT, found so many uses for it in the classroom, but our school blocked it from us and it was so frustrating. I can get that. I get that completely. And I don't want to understand that. And that's why I kind of want to share with you some ways that you can use it. But also, I wanted to share all of that initial information with you because the more that you can share this kind of stuff and how it can help us be better in our jobs and have better outcomes for our students, you'll be able to advocate for the use of this for teachers, but also for students once you kind of get into that mindset. That's a little bit of a different mindset there. I am having trouble. There we go. Okay. So back to sharing my screen here so you can see what we're doing. All right. So on mine, I said there is a free version and I have upgraded to the other version. Anybody who has a free version of ChatGPT, they're going to get the 3.5. You're going to be able to use 3.5 on your own. ChatGPT 4 just goes a little bit more in depth. It has plugins, it has different ways that you can do it. So you can craft a perfect prompt, which I'm going to teach you how to do so you won't need that. Different things like YouTube scripts. You can access any links on the web and then get information with ChatGPT 4. It can create diagrams, unleash scientific research, different things like that. And it's really cool to utilize that. But again, your free version, all those other extra applications, all those extra websites are going to charge you money to use them. Whereas ChatGPT, if you have the free version, it's free. So I want you to know that, you know, once you create this ChatGPT account, the next most important part to beginning using ChatGPT as your teacher assistant is just to know how to prompt it effectively. Again, that's on ChatGPT 4, but you don't want to spend the money. We're teachers. We don't have that kind of money. So, of course, we could just begin chatting with ChatGPT to get it to provide us with what we want. The whole purpose of this boot camp, okay, is, and for you being here, is to begin automating and streamlining your workload as a teacher so that you're not spending all of that additional time. That's why we'll be using the prep framework to engineer some really good prompts that will give us a better output initially instead of going back and forth over and over again and just chatting with this robot. So, for example, you might decide that you want to use ChatGPT to generate a rubric, okay? Generate a rubric for my 7th grade science class on cells. I don't know. I just made this up off the top of my head. So it's going to go ahead and give you some criteria, and it's pretty basic, right? I mean, it'll give you something to work with, but then you're going to have to tailor that to your needs. More than likely, it's not going to contain all those unique pieces for your particular grade level, your subject, or the assignment in general. And I like to think of ChatGPT as like Amelia Bedelia. Okay, drop in the chat if you know who Amelia Bedelia is, if I'm not too old here. But Amelia Bedelia, you have to give you have to give ChatGPT a specific direct instruction in order for it to be able to fulfill your request. This is why using ChatGPT Prep Framework is going to really support you. So I've created a cheat sheet to help you to be able to use these steps, and you can grab it at teachingmindbodyandsoul.com/prep framework. I'm going to pull this over here so that I'm able to show that. Miranda says, love her. Yes, me too. So this is where you can find it. The prep framework cheat sheet. This is going to help you. I'm going to go over it right now to kind of go over it with you. But the first step is you got to you got to prompt it. So in this step, you're basically just setting the scene and giving that basic foundation for the rest of your instructions. So if you ask ChatGPT to create an academic quiz, that's a base level to your prompt. The second step is to give it a role. So when you're assigning ChatGPT a role, you're giving the artificial intelligence a clear understanding of what you want it to accomplish. So if you say you are an expert quiz writer, okay, then you're an expert at creating quizzes and engaging and challenging students. That's where you're giving it a role. So to build upon creating that academic quiz, you're going to say something like you're an experienced teacher who's an expert at creating quizzes that engage and challenge students. That is way more effective than create an academic quiz. Am I right? So the third step is to be explicit. E. So you want to be explicit in your directions. You want to be clear, specific, about what you want the tool to do and what information you're really looking for in that output. So, for example, you say, write 5 questions, use Bloom's taxonomy to make sure that those questions develop a deeper understanding. Use various question types, providing, asking for it to provide those answers at the end. Now ChatGPT has way more to work on. And then the last step is to set the parameters. For the robot to give you more accurate responses and for it to know more about what you're looking for, you have to set those parameters. And it's basically just defining the scope and the boundaries that you want the chatbot to fall within. Okay. Um, Somebody said, I read Amelia Bedelia to my kiddos. Yeah, it's a good book. It's a good book. So these parameters are just adding into your prompt. Write these questions on an 8-year-old reading level, or create these questions in Spanish. Inside of your resources, I'm also going to provide you with a prompt support bank that's going to give you some ideas on providing your prep framework and ways to make this more efficient. Now that you have this basic understanding of the framework to apply to your prompts, I want you to think of a way that you can utilize this tool. Maybe it is in lesson planning. I think that's the basic one that everybody kind of looks at first. They look at lesson planning, right? I've posted a lot of different prompts on Instagram to kind of choose from, but I want to also provide you a list of great prompts. And I've done that inside of the Automate Your Classroom course as well. You're going to want to practice these for a while to get used to using it within ChatGPT and in your chats, and then reflect on the differences between your inputs and your outputs, and make sure that you kind of record the ones that are giving you the greatest output, because you're going to want to add those into your workflow. Keeping that bank of prompts you really like and then adding them to your workflow, which we'll talk about more about automating that workflow in tomorrow's live, but having this as part of your personal like SOP for that specific task. So when we think about automation and using AI for this purpose, I've been doing it for a lot of things. Since I've been using it for the last 8 months, I have used more complex ways of automation where I've kind of like systemized it, where it, goes into my database and all I have to do is type in some keywords and it just automatically prompts it into my database. That way I can just plug and play. But you don't have to do it like that. You don't have to use it as part of this more complex system. This can just be one of those plug and play type things. And it's still saving you tons of time, tons of brain power, tons of energy, where you just head over, you prompt it, and you get that. So the first way that I would recommend using it for streamlining your workflow is just creating templates for various things. Emails, like drop in the comments, tell me, like, is anybody else struggling to write emails to parents, right? Just emails in general. Like, I think about those emails that you struggle with writing, like bad behavior or missing assignments, those types of things. I struggled for years to write emails to parents when a student was misbehaving or having issues in the classroom, because I worried about the tone of the email, like how it might be perceived by a parent. But my previous admin like always required that we follow up, keep a paper trail. So using ChatGPT, we can ask it, write an email for a teacher to send to parents when their child is exhibiting an inappropriate behavior in class. Ask for support from the parent and use a tone that's collaborative, caring, kind, friendly. You could ask it to end it with using, or asking for a conference. This kind of takes out that guesswork behind, like, how do I write this? I cannot be the only one who has felt this way, right? I can't be. Let me know in the comments if you struggle writing emails to parents. Writing those personalized emails to each parent, that's a time-consuming task. And teachers often have to repeat the same message multiple times, which can lead to burnout. So by using those templates, you can save time and then ensure that you're communicating your concerns in a clear, consistent, and effective manner. But templates can also help you kind of avoid those errors, right? Maintain that professional tone while addressing maybe sensitive, maybe, difficult topics. So they can easily be customized to kind of reflect the specific needs of each student, and then they can be used as a starting point for discussions between you and the parents, whether you're writing about a student's absence or announcing an upcoming school activity, requesting assistance. You can get the chatbot to kind of give you that jump start and write it for you. The second way that I think saves a lot of teachers a lot of time and energy is for that differentiation for our students. I think most teachers struggle when it comes to finding ways to differentiate for maybe our English language learners or our special education students, those who need access to the instruction that we're providing. So, not all curriculum provides this for us. And so, we end up searching for things that are on our students' levels and then spending hours trying to create lessons that allow for that access. When we can just really pop over to ChatGPT and get it to differentiate for us, generating that content and those activities based on students' interest, learning styles, instructional levels. So, an example of a prompt like this would be for a seventh grade teacher. I want you to act as a seventh grade teacher who is teaching a lesson on finding the theme. You're going to create a lesson plan that teaches them theme for seventh grade students that differentiates the lesson for some students who have a reading disability, who are currently reading on a fourth grade level. Some students who have attention deficit disorder maybe need chunking of large lessons. English language learner students who require vocabulary reteaching. Please include all of the lesson materials and the differentiated instructions. That's a really high quality prompt, if I do say so myself. Okay. If you had a specific text that you were using, you could also ask for that text to be provided or written on a specific grade level so that students could easily access it in that way. I'm telling you, the amount of time you can save just by utilizing ChatGPT for these types of tasks, immeasurable, immeasurable. So, some other ways that you can differentiate. Jamie said the parent communication is why I joined the Automate Your Classroom. Awesome. Yes, yes. In Automate Your Classroom, we go over a lot of that stuff as well. And we really dive into creating that system. So some other ways that you can use ChatGPT to help you differentiate might be, you ask it to provide additional explanations, examples for students who need more support in understanding a concept. Maybe you need visual aids. So you ask for diagrams, videos to help students to better understand that concept. Offer alternative assessments that allow students to demonstrate their understanding in different ways. Maybe it's through projects, through presentations, through written assignments. You could provide different levels of scaffolding, like sentence frames or graphic organizers, to help the students organize their thoughts and their ideas. Offering small group or one-on-one instruction to provide more personalized support for students who need it. Differentiated instructional strategies like tiered assignments or flexible grouping, formative assessments. You could do exit tickets, quizzes to gauge students' understanding and then adjust your instruction accordingly. You could ask for pre-teaching strategies like vocabulary instruction or background knowledge building to help prepare students for new concepts and things like that. ChatGPT can also be used to provide additional support and resources for students who need it, like helping them answer their questions, providing examples or explanations, offering that practice activity or those quizzes to help reinforce their learning. The last way, though, that I want to talk about using ChatGPT for automation, but again, this isn't like a huge comprehensive list, is to use it in actually creating your workflow. So think about those SOPs that we created yesterday. If you're struggling with determining the best ways to handle a bunch of tasks, you can ask ChatGPT to help you optimize your SOP. So you're struggling with trying to figure out the most efficient way to grade maybe, I don't know, 175 essays. You could pop it in. You could say, I have 175 students in my ninth grade English class. They all wrote 5-page essays. What's the most efficient way to grade them? ChatGPT is going to give you some ideas or some ways that you could do that. Maybe you say, I'm having trouble managing all of my emails or my messages from parents and colleagues. What are some strategies for managing my inbox efficiently? It's going to give you that. The more information that you give it, though, it's going to give you more personalized responses, right? So maybe you have a lot of paperwork to complete for your students' IEPs and 504 plans. What are some time saving strategies for completing this paperwork? These are just ways that you can do this. Maybe it's I need to create progress reports for all of my students, but I don't have a lot of time. What are some efficient ways to create progress reports? The list can literally go on and on and on. It's like chatting with Google on steroids. Okay. This is freeing up all of that brain space for you to focus on those more important tasks, those more important responsibilities. Because when we're automating or delegating or any of those types of things, what we want to do is we want to see our classroom work more efficiently and allow you to prioritize what is truly important in your classroom. So by using ChatGPT to really handle those routine tasks like grading assignments, generating those lesson plans, answering student questions, providing personalized feedback, you're going to save some valuable time and energy that can then be redirected towards more meaningful, more impactful aspects of teaching, developing those engaging curricula, building relationships with your students, fostering that more positive classroom environment. And additionally, by leveraging the power of AI to really streamline those administrative tasks, you're going to achieve a better work life balance. That is going to lead you to having greater job satisfaction and longer term career success, which is all in all what we want to do. If we continue to be so afraid to use tools like this to our advantage, I think we're really doing ourselves and our students a disservice when we can start to reimagine what education looks like and can be for our society. I don't think that AI is this end all be all, but it's available. We should use it for as many purposes as we can, and it's a really great way to automate some of that as well. So, of course, it's really important to recognize it's not that silver bullet. It's not going to solve all of our problems. It's not going to replace human teachers. But when you're leveraging that power to automate those certain tasks, we can work more efficiently, more effectively, which is leading to better outcomes for our students because we're going to have more available time and energy to engage with them, to provide that feedback, to develop that innovative curriculum, closing those gaps and making learning more accessible. So ultimately, the key to success in education is just finding that right balance between automation and then that human connection. By embracing technology and using it to our advantage, we can create a more vibrant, engaging, effective, educational experience for everybody. Speaking of those tools and artificial intelligence, I want to share with you that I am offering some bonuses inside of the Automate Your Classroom program that are focused around AI for teachers. One of them is my ebook that I released in January. It has over 50 prompts to use in your classroom that will help you streamline and reduce that burnout, as well as a prompt bank that contains some really good prompts in there. But I'm always adding more all the time as I'm creating more prompts and really playing around with it. But I'm also including in this program a workshop you won't find anywhere else about automating with AI. To help you do it in that more complex fashion that I was telling you about, where it's not just this plug and play thing, but it's a part of your automation system that's going to save you time, energy, sanity. I've had to change it multiple times since I created the workshop because technology is ever changing. But if you're at this place where you're ready to stop working those nights and weekends, get back that 10 to 20 hours of the time you're spending outside of contract hours on all the tasks, really eliminate those time wasting tasks, get that work life balance you crave, and just simplify your workload. I do invite you to join the waitlist for the upcoming course, Automate Your Classroom, where I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process of how to really reflect on what's working, what's not working for your sustainability in your career. It's got assessments to help you determine which components you need to simplify, as well as take you on your personal, individualized journey to creating the system that's going to work best for your classroom. I can't give you a system that's going to work in your classroom. Every one of us are very different teachers. We have different classrooms. So from there, I'm going to give you the tools that you can use to develop automations even if you have no technology background, and it's going to allow you to create the system from scratch, tailored to your specific needs, giving you that energy, giving you that capacity to do the things in teaching that actually move that needle forward and impact your students and their growth. And I'm really excited to offer this because I also have a comprehensive, always growing automation tech vault that has templates and for automated messaging to parents, colleagues, automated grading, co-planning, lesson planning, curriculum mapping, data tracking, progress monitoring, parent communication, documentation, literally so much more. If you haven't hopped on the wait list for the Automate Your Classroom program, you're definitely want to get in on that for those waitlist only discounts, because the doors are opening at the end of this boot camp, and you can get on the wait list at teachingmindbodyandsoul.com/automate your classroom waitlist. So your homework for today is to drop your prep framework, okay, into the comments of the homework post with a screenshot of the response you got. Bonus points for those of you who label your prompt and your response with like 1 to 5 stars. So if you got like a really good response, give it 5 stars. If you didn't get a good response, give it 1. That way we can share how we would use ChatGPT to help automate our classrooms. Some of the reason for these homework assignments and then posting them is so you can see and then collaborate with the other members to see what's working well and what's not, and get those ideas from others of us who are doing this boot camp. So even if you missed yesterday's homework, you can still do that, and I totally recommend that you do. Today's giveaway prize is a pro account for one of my favorite automation tools. It's called classpoint.io. So that will be available as well. Yesterday's winner was already announced, but it was Tara. Tara won the smart plugs. So if you're a teacher who loves to do the most, but you don't have the time or the energy to do it, ClassPoint is like the go-to classroom companion. It lets you do the most with like minimal effort, and it integrates seamlessly into your PowerPoints to make presenting like a gamified experience. So when I've had to do presentations in my classroom in the past, I've had to have like 10 tabs up to do everything that this one tool can do all in one tab. Like I used to have to go to a website for a countdown timer, for a name picker, head over to Kahoot or to Blooket to get that quiz type thing going. But with ClassPoint, it's all right there inside of your presentation. So you never have to leave the presentation again. You can embed a browser right into the presentation. You can do multiple choice quizzes, open-ended responses, other ways to keep your students engaged right inside of your lesson presentation. Like I'm telling you, it is revolutionary. Recently, they added an AI aspect, which is one of the reasons why I decided to do this giveaway today. Instead of you creating those quizzes or those questions when you create your PowerPoint presentation, ClassPoint will generate these questions from your slide in just a matter of seconds. So what it does is it quickly scans the slides, and then it examines the content, and then it automatically transforms it into instant quiz questions. Like I said before, it's powered by ChatGPT. Any of these extra little applications or things like that, those are powered by ChatGPT. But what ClassPoint did is it created the algorithms to do the work for you, to make this quiz customizable. And these aren't just like simple questions. It's creating a range of engaging question formats. Multiple choice, short answer, fill in the blank. And then it can also incorporate levels of Bloom's taxonomy, which allows you to tailor that complexity to the questions, even going so far as to bridge language gaps for your English language learners, because it supports multiple languages. So it kind of like allows you to generate the questions in whatever language you choose. Not to mention, you can see in real time your students' progress. It does automated grading. You can award students for points and badges to kind of give them for participation, keep them more engaged. There is a free version of it. So even if you don't win, you can still use the free version. And it has some of those more basic features that's going to help you save a ton of time. But the paid version has those AI upgrades, things like that. So the only downside to it is if you don't use PowerPoint or you don't want to convert your slides to a PowerPoint presentation, it doesn't have that capability yet. But if you're cool with adding it on to PowerPoint, like I'm telling you, Total game changer. So, those of you who complete day 2 homework before tomorrow's live at 3 p.m., you'll be entered to win the pro account version of this. But if you're catching the replay after day 2 giveaway has been awarded, you still have until Monday to get in on the Ultimate Bootcamp giveaway, which is that free scholarship to automate your classroom. And all you have to do is just complete each part of the challenge, day 1, day 2, day 3 homework, before Monday, July 20 or July 31st. I thought it said 21st. I don't see any comments or questions in the chat right now. All in all, I just, guys, want you to feel free to ask any questions in the chat. I can respond to those back to them. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the last day of the Automation Bootcamp. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, same place. Make sure you do that homework, do your prep framework, AI prompt, share with us in those comments what you found. If you want to do multiples, that's going to help the majority of us, and I would love for us to collaborate. So tomorrow is day 3. It will go live, and then Monday I will also go live to do a final Q&A. Really be able to ask, you can ask me any type of question about automation. I'm going to share it with you right there. Do that final giveaway. And so, yeah, I can't wait to see your homework. Can't wait to see what all you decide to automate. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Bye, guys.